As future language teachers of the Autonomous University of Tlaxcala, we face a large number of challenges that we will have to face with our knowledge and skills. But we not only have challenges, we have also responsibilities. And one of the great responsibilities that we have been given is quality in education. As many of us already know, we have spent around a century trying to bring education across the country. Now, in the 90s, the Mexican government has taken on the task of bringing quality in education. This is not an easy task, and many researchers still wonder the same thing. But what has changed? As we can see in both photos, both in the early education and in the other more recent, the same education system is applied in both despite the fact that there is more than a century of difference. But we continue using a system that, according to many research, is obsolete. So many of these researchers wonder what the future of the education is going to be. Today, they don't have an answer, but they know and assure that technology will play a crucial role in this new educational system. Good morning. My name is Luis Gerardo Rivera Narciso. The name of my investigation is the use of video games as a tool for the acquisition of vocabulary in English. First of all, I would like to say thank you to everyone who is here and who has read my research. Video games have been part of my life since I was a child. I remember when my father gave me my first video console, and that was the moment when I discovered the whole world involved in a video game, because there were complicated and simple stories where I explore, interact, discover, create, etc. Unfortunately, when I started to play video games, my family and other authorities saw that video games were a problem for me and for my intelligence, because from their point of view, I couldn't learn anything good from these devices. I was just a child and I don't understand why video games were bad. For some reason, nobody in my family said anything about TV or any other device. Video games have been criticized as being mindless entertainment with no educational value or content. Stereotypes in my country, like video games means wasting time, are part of the social view. Also, isolation, violent behavior, and addiction are so common. But many of those arguments are wrong. Many studies and research have indicated that video games can be beneficial. I chose video games as my topic because I personally know the benefits and the advantage of playing video games, and some of those benefits help me to understand and comprehend better the English language. So, what is a video game? It is necessary to mention something obvious but obligatory to reflect. A video game is a game, and games are part of human nature. It's a free and conscious activity which occurs outside of our ordinary life because it is considered no serious. And video games are part of the Mexican people. Nowadays, a total of 74 million of Mexicans play in multiple devices as consoles, cell phones, or computers. Also, Mexico is the top 20 of countries with the biggest video games market in the world. About the benefits, I would like to use the words of Paul G, who mentioned that the pleasure are basis of learning for humans, and learning is like the sex and eating, deeply pleasure for human beings. As a result, learning is a basic drive for humans. About my research, starting with the presentation of my methodology, it is going to be qualitative, owing to the fact that we are interested in the process that players follow to acquire the knowledge, and this focus is more appropriate. The following are the research questions. In the case of the first, this question could be answered by a lot of other investigations made by so many authors before. But we are from an investigation that we think is relevant due to it take place part of the current social and cultural context of Tlaxcala. In the research design, it is going to be a qualitative approach. The method of the research, we are going to use questionnaires, interviews, and the use of a diary that is going to be explained in the description. We are going to have four sessions. In the first, we are just going to determine the characteristics and the situation. The second, we are going to indicate the activity. The third, we are going to have an interview to check. And finally, we're going to collect the data by the interview, the questionnaire, and the diary. Next, I am going to present our test subjects. They are five, which age are from 30 to 29 years old. Our participants meet the video game and are able to be part of the research. One important factor, the game. Overwatch is a fiction FPS game by teams launched in 2016 in battles between two teams of 6 players competing in various game modes. But why this game? Firstly, the game encouraged the player to communicate with their teammates since the interface. The same game also introduced to you to the communication with the team. Finally, even with all these tools to communicate, players usually use the voice channel of the game or other devices to talk between each other in the game using microphone. To support these issues, I will use words from a professional player and YouTuber called Toniki, who says that communication in Overwatch is so fundamental, it is basically what separates a bad player from a good player, apart from the mechanics. There comes a point where communication is so important that these players only with their ability cannot level up, and that happens in all ranks.